Tarzan specifically, he has still really loved the Lee Sin. But LNG just going to pick up their bot lane, first rotation, get the mobility coming from the Lantern with the Thresh.
Quick pick ban as well, already hovering over the Graves to top esports. Been one of Wayward's best champions, and I'd say the same about Tien here. Viego, Hecarim, like champions I can get excited on from the ex-FPX jungler that come into mind.
Yeah, and so far they're hovering this, but I would be really surprised if TS don't pick up jungle in first phase of picks and bans. Tien, I don't think, has looked like one of the standouts in terms of like moving off meta picks. Viego obviously been his like go-to.
Yep.
He is someone as well who has gotten a lot of value with bringing out the Hecarim. I think for top esports, it also like fits their play style quite well, and especially having Tien as another like follow-up engage or someone who's able to start the fight could work out quite well for TS. But looks like they might go towards support, which could potentially lead to jungle getting pinched if LNG do decide to go with jungle on 3.
Give Mark that time. Kent, second time he'll be playing it now. Importantly enough, takes away from Lumao. But to be fair, Lumao's already got the Thresh, so that point's moot. And on the other side, we get an early jungle here from Tarzan, the Volley Bear, which he has been favoring as of recently.
And I'm a little bit surprised, right? Because now, I mean, the Hecarim's still left open, the Viego. I guess those would be the two standouts. If for LNG you want to ban jungle, I think those have been his go-to picks. The Xin Zhao would then still be left open, so there are definitely more meta junglers than not, as they actually do ban out a jungler, but to my surprise, they take away the Trundle.
Okay, well, that's at least
He did play it in their last series, 2 games, but still wouldn't expect that to be quite a high priority for TS. TS could play a style of comp where they play from range and kite back, right? They have double marksman so far in the Tahm Kench, but Tien probably wouldn't be able to have the same impact early game with that pick, because TS going to focus mid laners.
So if you kite back, are you looking at things like the Vex that we were highlighting for Knight? Because that's definitely something that wants to re-engage or set up the fights.
So we've seen with Knight that even when they were going for this composition, now taken away, that even when the rest of their comp was a lot about kiting back, playing from range, the Knight was still the one who was on more aggressive picks that did want to go in. So I'm not too surprised, right? I feel like TS a lot of times do pick for their lane matchups. Even them drafting Graves in first rotation, I think, is to make sure they get a comfortable blind pick top with the Gwen already taken off the board.
Okay, well, that Camille's going to go through it with it as well. So I like that they're targeting Arla here just that little bit. Remember, he still has things like the Fiora that we've seen recently. Lyric, there's so much in this guy's champion pool. It is always hard to ban him out, but for now, Viego solo lane or Volley Bear solo lane, which one do you favor?
I have no idea. We're going to see how this goes.
Okay.
Viego's, like, for Viego solo lane, it's been, my God, it's been so long. I mean, obviously took a ton of nerves at the time after coming out and being such a dominant force in both mid and top lane. Heck, Volley Bear feels like it's been even longer since we've seen him as a solo laner.
True.
But now we're going to go to the side of TS. We highlighted that there were still a lot of jungle picks left open. Obviously, the Viego serves as a bit of a takeaway from Tien as well, him not being able to go towards that for the jungle. Technically, Graves is a flex, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they still just end up locking in the Hecarim, which they're showing now. Again, I feel like that fits Tien's playstyle quite well.
Yep.
For the side of TS, they have a lot of ability to all in if they do draft the Hecarim along with the Ahri. No, don't do it. Don't go to standard.
Give us Hecarim. Tien, yeah, Hecarim, even though it's only 40% win rate, we love watching you on it. Xin Zhao is sleeper. Sleeper OP, some people will say, but still, bedtime has been acquired. At the very least, we get Knight on the Ahri, and we get Wayward on one of his strongest champions. Now for the side of LNG, I just want to find out how this rounds out, because I need to know who the jungler is and who's going into the solo lane. We get an Akali here. Lyric, I guess now we just have to wait for that swap to answer the question.
Yeah, you know, it'd be the funny, like, if one of these bruisers swaps over to the mid lane for doing B. But I'm actually quite surprised going back to TS that they pick up the Xin Zhao, because they've been one of the teams that have really steered clear from this pick. Like, no matter when it's open, Tien has only played it once so far. It does set up them much better in terms of, like, things like mid-jungle 2v2s, right? And overall, just Xin Zhao's ultimate being so obnoxious in a lot of these team fights. LNG do have a pretty, like, melee-oriented composition, so they will be able to get in there and trying to fight out the Xin Zhao, but still will not be welcomed. For TS, again, I think they have some side lanes. We do see, though, Viego's top is Derrick's.
It is. Apparently something Arla is played in previous splits, but remember, we've not seen a solo lane Viego for quite a while, so it'll be exciting to see, because at the very least, you talked about the melee range of this team. At least the top side early are going to have to get down and dirty, and I'm kind of interested to see where Tarzan focuses here because he's got a couple of lanes that will require his agency to build that bridge in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes top. I mean, right, you assume Vega will just get pushed in against the Graves. Graves pretty much gets prio against almost any top laner in that matchup. Some things to know about Viego, right? Blade of the Rune King getting a buff on the previous 2 patches, coming through after our kind of time skip 4 patch.
Yep.
But this is going to be a fun one. We knew we'd get spicy drafts, and LNG versus Top Esports delivers.
Now, for what's on the line, you guys like the standard drill. LNG, if they win this series, they make playoffs. They'll be the 4th team locked in at the end of week 7 here. It's already V5, Weibo Gaming, RNG. If LNG can do it, they cement themselves, at least for the time being, into such a strong position. Even EDG aren't locked into playoffs yet, so that'd be a statement for Top Esports. They'd move up to 8. And Top Esports, the rest of their schedule, it's very doable for them to get close to 11, maybe even 12 wins if they can beat Weibo Gaming. They're on a hot streak. They're 5 wins deep on it as well. And as they pull out this draft, it looks a little bit more standard, but we know TES are playing towards their strengths in Game 1.
Yeah, and just to give people a bit of a refresher on the Viego one more time, right? Again, this pick used to be super standard in the soul lanes, but then he pretty much took nerfs everywhere across the board.
Yep.
I remember one of the more impactful ones was his healing against minions, you know, after he Qs, does get the heal off of things. Went from 50%, I believe it was all the way down to 10. That was when we started to see him kind of pushed out of soul lanes. The damage got nerfed on it. His ultimate was nerfed. Nerfed across the board, pretty much pushed into only being a jungler. And now we're going to get to see how Allah does do on the pick, going up against Wayward on a much more favorable champion that we see pretty much every day.
Yep. I wanted to throw back, though, last time that Allah played it, of course, in 2021 summer, and you're right, it's a much more different time, so returning to it here, he's 4-2 right now with his win rate, worth mentioning 66%, so we'll keep an eye on that Viego top. In the meantime, we'll get other things to talk about here, Lyric. We do have Electrocute versus Electrocute in the mid lane, so kind of excited to see how Ari versus Akali goes, but we do know that range in these early levels is going to mean that Doomby is going to sit on about 1 CS for the time being.
Yeah, Doomby, right, early game, going to be quite rough. Has the ability to outplay once we do have those ultimates coming online, especially if you're able to hit your E onto the RA, because then it doesn't even really matter about the Spirit Rush being able to come out, being able to follow through with that. You know, maybe hit either the first or second part of your R, throw out the Q. A lot of options there for him if he does make it through this early laning phase. Tien, though, having a ton of options. Heck, we saw Doomby say in the early game, right? For Tien, it's about getting winning lane matchups. So look across the minimap right now. All 3 of Top Esports lanes having push, enabling Tien to play however he wants. Even hovers mid to get level 3, so now he can steal away these Raptors.
I mean, Tarzan here in full vision, still going to take away that 50-50, but for Tarzan, he has Smite Tien the same as well. A lot of burst damage too, and you can see that Arla's moving down, but Tarzan and Doomby just force them off. Raptor's going to go back, and Tien not successful with the steal.
Still not successful, but it looks like Wayward was able to get at least the first part of this wave into turret, right? So denying Allah, so you might not get your steal in the first place, but you do deny them elsewhere. The other kind of side effect for Tien is that he does obviously fall behind in terms of how many camps he has up. You're seeing that Tarzan now finishing his full clear, where Tien still has now Gromp and Krugs left open. So Tarzan can have a bit of a window where Tien will be locked into finishing his camps.
But he will be spotted onto a ward. Tien on the last Gromp, as you mentioned. Scuttle going to be a bit of a contest, and I think it's still just weird for me seeing Tien on the other side of the map as Doomby. As Tarzan spotted out, but is it too late? Onto Wayward. They want to commit, but he flashes immediately. And Tarzan kind of doubled down after clearing the ward.
Yeah, Tarzan able to force out the flash, absolutely huge, especially when we know that Wayward is going to be looking to play this aggressively, try and deny the Viego minions by pushing him into turret, making it harder to CS. Is going to open up Tien to be able to get both of these Scuttle Crabs.
Yep.
So at least there's a silver lining somewhere, and also just naturally brings him down to the bottom side where his Krugs are, and it looks like his Raptor's about to respawn as well. So for Tien, not too much lost. And kind of looking at these comps holistically, right? It's pretty interesting when, I mean, both have the ability to go toe-to-toe in the side lanes, right? You have double assassin mid laner, 2 champions that do want to go for split push later on in top side as well. I expect Doomby to have pressure later on in the game. Top lane matchup, who knows? I'll be honest. I'll be frank. Haven't really seen this one all too much. If Ala could get ahead, again, start picking up some of those items early on. Maybe things like Divine Sunder. We hit on Blade of the Rune King, getting the buff as well.
Yep.
Controlling that will be pretty huge for the side of LNG, and then hopefully being able to get on Jackie which could be quite hard since it does have a Tom Kench right alongside him.
That's true. A lot of defensive options. Talking about side lane threat, though, that's a nice touch, especially with Blade of the Rune King that you've also touched on. So, interested to see here for LNG. Also feel like, Lyric, we've got resets here from Ala on the Viego. Doomby has an angle for positioning as well. Tarzan has a lot of dive ability. I think this comp dives very well now having looked at it.
Oh, of course, right? And a ton of burst damage coming out on their side as well to set up for those resets to come through for Ala up in top side. Moonlight Vigil, Doomby jumping in, everything that Tarzan's able to do. I definitely think for the side of LNG that it'd be nice to see them put, a repeat gank into this top lane. Looks like the wave is pushing it back into Wayward if I saw it on the minimap correctly, so could be an angle there. Still no Rift Herald for the next 2 minutes, so at least not going to see any grouped coordinated team play coming out for a little bit.
At least spotted them for wards for the time being with both junglers. Not sure about Tarzan up the top side being spotted out, but at the very least, things are coming down, and Tien are well aware that he's now on vision in this bot side, but that is the third Scuttle Crab. Tien set up to take all three of them, but Tarzan now, his response on Wayward's big, considering that the flash was burned from the Graves. Collateral damage is available, but Wayward's playing it very safe.
And it's going to set up, though, for Top Esports to go for this Dragon. So we'll be able to secure the first one of the game. Tarzan will get a bit of counter jungling done on the opposite side of the map, being able to take away that Gromp. Wayward's still decently healthy, so I don't know if this sets up a sort of dive angle. I feel like you'd probably need to at least build up a nice size wave, or if Tarzan's able to hit 6 off this, which it doesn't look like he will. Ooh, but with Doomby, definitely possible.
There we go. The dive we talk about starts getting acted out. Now, Tarzan, you mentioned with the 6, that's crucial, but Heartbreaker, perfect execution. It seems like LNG not confident in health bar of Ala and Tarzan not having that tool, so they back
also,
away.
No wave.
But Top Esports, they're making the response play on the bottom side.
Yeah, Top Esports going for the aggression with the fact that they saw Doomby move up.
Okay, well, that's perfect
ultimate
execution, and Knight's already pulled out the Spirit Rush, wants to turn it around. Doomby's out of there, but Ala now making himself known. Knight's used everything, and it looks like he will be able to escape for now. Just walks it down, no summoner's burn. We are getting some aggressive posturing, but yet to see any blood.
Yeah, for Top Esports, it feels like they were the ones who were able to come out ahead in terms of what we saw over the past minute, right? You see Tien has found himself a sizable lead in the jungle with some of the invades he has been able to pull off. Also, obviously picking up the Dragon. Still has all of his camps to clear to where for LNG, not really able to get anything from that topside play, especially because, Wayward able to clear out the wave. Hook comes through.
Yeah, he was kind of face first into that one, relying on Mark with the Guardian, but that's so easy from the 2v2. Lumau straight ahead with the hook and the flame not in time onto Mark. That goes to light, and that is a disaster.
And what an unfortunate time to make a mistake as well, right? Because as we see now with Light hitting level 6, both bot lanes should be pretty close. Had they been able to hold out on a mistake for another 30 seconds, Mark would have that Devour available to save him from the play. As we're going to see here, Jackie walking forward to hit with these rockets. Mark walking away from him as he's going to clear.
That was a light cleanse.
Yeah, very late cleanse coming out from Jackie Love. Again, not on the same page as Mark. Pretty much just delivering that one to Lumau on a silver platter.
That's very classic Jackie Love, though. We know the dichotomy of this man, great in teamfights sometimes, can lose it all within a single moment. So a big win here for LNG. Their bottom lane evens up the gold. But Top Esports, as we come back, are straight on top of the Herald. They'll pick up that early objective. LNG not fighting for it. They all grouped up, so this is a good response considering that LNG have none.
And we can see the difference coming back out from the replay was the fact that Top Esports bot lane got here much sooner. Looks like Light and Lumau were still making their way over when we were coming out of that replay. So nice by TS to keep up the momentum, especially if we can see Wayward keeping this pressure up on top side. Maybe be able to take a few turret plates and use that one where you could outright break down a turret would be quite nice. Now though, Tien gonna be pathing towards his bottom side.
Yep.
there's no flash on Luma now, so there's some ability to punish, and they kind of have to be careful for Jackie Love, who now has no summoners available, and he could be a very easy target for the side of LNG.
And we've already talked about the dive, the flexibility that can come through. Doomby, Tarzan can go top, they can go bot. For now, it looks like Tarzan's returning to the scene of the first crime. Wayward has his flash up and again and available, but Tarzan, as he clears the ward, might just have to back away. Wayward, this time, he's not going to double down for staying in lane. Pulls out the crying Amumu and accepts his fate that he has to be zoned out.
And let's remember that it goes back to, again, the pregame interview of Doonbeat saying, like, Tien's very good about when he wants to make a play on bot, calling up to his top laner and saying, hey, play safe, I'm going to look for this play.
Sure.
So Wayward respecting the potential aggression, able to come out. TS tried to set up a play on this bottom lane, but not able to find anything. The state of the wave still on LNG's side of the map, and
oh,
no real angles. There's
Doomby going in. On top of Knight, he wants to take it. Perfect execution out. Ignite's there. Spirit Rush has one charge available, and these mid laners keep fighting each other for it. But this time around, top esports have something to commit further to the play. Herald won't be placed as Tarzan moves into vision. It'll just help make sure that Doomby stays alive.
Yeah, seems like Doonby trying to bait Knight in as another engage.
Box and ulti. Light is unable to get the kill onto Jackie Love as he's saved by Devour. Mark helping out his AD and stopping from another disaster happening again.
Hey, it happens post-6. That's all that matters. You have Mark right by your side to save you from that one. And, you know, no summoners having to come out from the side of TES, just able to walk out of that one. One ultimate blown for 2 as well. So ultimately, right, it comes out in favor of TS. LNG should be able to get the spot wave pushed in, potentially maybe deny Jackie Love some CS, but not the end of the world for either side.
I will say, I opened up with this, but it is still very weird for me to see Tien versus Doomby. It's been 3 years. And, you know, before that, Tien, of course, was with Knight. We remember, like, these guys were a bit of a duo themselves. But Tien has been known as a jungler that sits by Doomby's side. So, again, I don't know, chat, if you feel the same way. It's kind of just strange seeing them on opposite ends. I have to pause, though, Lyric, because story time doesn't come now. We get the dive now that wants to go on top of Arla. And top esports going to get reacted to. Arla stuns down Tien. This could be good. Alt territory is a heartbreaker. No, it's a flash instead. Wind becomes lightning, not connecting. Doomby onto Wayward. Mr. Shuriken flip one now. It's onto Tien. Tarzan smashes down. And Knight now caught in the thick of it as well. Doomby charging forward. This time, he kills the enemy mid laner.
Top esports think they found an opportunity where they have numbers advantage, where they moved first. But Doonby and Tarzan able to rotate so quickly, able to answer up on those kills. Looks like on the minimap, Wayward going to look to duel Tarzan.
Yeah,
Tarzan
he's going to do a lot of damage. Got to do a lot of damage, but burns the flash crucially after staying around trying to steal jungle camps. Lumao, is he dead?
Oh, Lumao.
Wait, he's got Dark Passage.
Oh, Lumao.
He's okay. Okay,
Oh, fine.
You change your mind quickly, Lyric.
Yeah, change from Lumao to Lumao. Nice.
Yeah, Lumao. When you say a word long enough or that much, it becomes really weird. We won't talk about Lumao here. We'll talk about Arla to kick it off.
Yeah, we saw TS kind of posturing topside to look for this play. They had the Rift Herald, of course, so maybe trying to set up for the dive and then break the turret down. But the response coming from Doonby and Tarzan so fast. Tarzan able to get the clutch done, following it up with the ult. And a nice flash by Doonby to make sure he finishes that off. And hey, Tarzan, Tien maybe was running out of time on the Rift Herald. Still able to guarantee the charge, though, is the critical thing. And now Wayward easily going to be able to break this turret down.
And let's have a quick flashback for maybe people tuning in for the first time. Wayward, this top laner, you might not know. Not important right now. Dark Passage taken. Tien on the chase, but you can see he's not in the lane in time. Knight moving down as well. I was going to say, Wayward, someone they don't know, who's been playing well in this Graves. Now with the lead is huge. As Knight setting up Doomby to run in with a beautiful kiss. If I had that many tails, I guess I could charm people into me as well.
Yeah, you know, I find one thing very curious. Well, interesting. I guess curious and interesting are like the same thing. No. I mean, oh, wait, Allah?
You got time, Luke. You got time.
Yeah. We see Wayward not going towards Hullbreaker, which is, it's kind of strange how Hullbreaker is so hit or miss here in the LPL. I think I was talking to Dagged about that. He was so surprised, right, because he's over there, you know, guesting on LEC some weeks. And just talking about how much more you're seeing Hullbreaker in other regions as compared to an LPL where, right, we see it sometimes on, obviously, the Nars, the Graves, you know, we saw it in Trinimir last game, but Wayward just going straight for the Immortal Shield Bow, maybe looking to be more proactive in terms of grouping with the team.
And, I mean, the rest of the team coming to him. Look at this. He can probably do it by himself, but Knight's going to help out. Electrocute to seal the deal. And Wayward even collateral damage is an overkill. Top Esports trying to bring blood into this game where LNG have already started it off.
And we already see TS shifting all of their resources up towards topside with Rift Herald going to come up soon.
Yep.
Their bot lane here in mid lane right now, just leaving Light and Lumao alone in the bottom side. They have an opportunity to get some vision down, steal away some jungle camps, and set themselves up for TN to pick up the second Herald in a row.
So I need you to revisit win cons with me, because we talked a little bit about how the game needs to go, like side lane pressure here from LNG, Viego, Akali snowballing. Run me through with this even gold lead. What changes now with the second Herald and the position of both Top Esports and LNG?
I'm feeling really good for TS going forward, especially with the advantage that Wayward's been able to find over Ala, right? Because he's going to be able to guarantee just keep up that pressure in that side lane. When it comes to team fights as well, I feel like TS should be feeling pretty decent with the Tahm Kench. Having Jinx with the Tahm Kench up against, like you said, a very heavy dive-oriented composition, Akali, Volibear, Viego, all jumping on the back line. If JackeyLove can get that reposition with the ultimate, teamfight should be feeling pretty good for TS. For LNG, I feel like you're kind of solely relying on Duinbi to be able to force his advantage in the 1v1 at this point and kind of link up with Tarzan and Lumao and start finding some of those picks.
I like the pick potential, though, if it relies around Duinbi. Protobelt has been picked up, or Rocket Belt, whatever you new age kids, Zoomers want to call it. It's always going to be Protobelt to me. We're going to rocket ourselves forward to the mid lane. Meanwhile, Top Esports with the second Herald to charge open and break down this outer turret. JackeyLove helps out, even gets a bit of a reset into Light. Look at the aggression. Running forward, doesn't care about Tarzan. Death Rocket blocked, and this is the dichotomy of JackeyLove in the nutshell of 15 minutes.
Yeah, I want to say I love the confidence he has in Mark, but I feel like JackeyLove would be doing that regardless. Still, though, sees a window to even get a small bit of a damage advantage out onto the opposing side, and he does it. We do see Duinbi, though, answering back in the top side, was able to pick up one turret. We'll be able to get a bit more damage here, but shouldn't mean anything. Again, LNG kind of angling for these picks to see if someone would have traversed through jungle, and Tarzan could have started it off with Duinbi following up. But in the end, it doesn't happen.
I kind of just realized we're talking about, who's a Giga Chad, who's George. Remember that George was the complete opposite we discussed?
I think it was, wait, I think you named the opposite Daniel.
No. It was 100% George. No, it was Brian. It was Brian.
You're both wrong. You came up with this.
Those three names now, mildly offended. But Brian, right? You either get Giga Chad or Brian. And the funny thing is, while we've compared a lot of people throughout LPL to one or the other, it's so funny to me that JackeyLove can be both Brian and Giga Chad in one game. Like, he is just the most flexible player in so many horrible and great ways.
I was going to say, that's a pretty nice word. Very flexible player coming out for JackeyLove.
Yeah.
Which is even funnier when you consider that he typically only plays one way, right?
That's
only
true.
Walking forward, looking for the aggressive play. We do see them. Ooh,
Knight
goes in with Spirit Rush.
Everfrost onto Lumao. Box down, though. He's gone deep. Knight, very dangerous. Mark saves the day, though. And he was feeling the JackeyLove momentum as well.
I was going to say the fact that he double Spirit Rushes just right in front of Lumao. Lumao's like, oh, okay, you're going to give me an easy flay into a box, into a death sentence? Sweet. Almost sets up for the pick. They waste not only 2 ults, but 2 flashes from their side as well. And LNG used Moonlight Vigil in the box.
Yep.
Not too bad. Dragon's going to come up soon as well, and you still have those summoners.
Coming, though. Tarzan could actually make this dive, Lyric, because I'm scared. He's actually going to turn onto Tien as Duinbi's running in as well. Against his old brother, strikes him down. No love lost as Duinbi charges in once again. LNG building up the pace once more as JackeyLove sending him back. The Super Mega Death Rocket on cooldown. Duinbi survives with a great little pick-off on the enemy jungler.
Right, that's the name of the game we set for LNG at this point, right? Is finding those picks. It looked like they were setting up, posturing for that dive because Mark didn't have the Devour. Nicely able to catch out TN in rotation. And now for the side of LNG, can start making their way down to this dragon, have Ala push out in bot lane. Duinbi can answer up in topside because he does have TP just in case any action breaks out. And you pretty much have all of your bases covered for the side of LNG.
Dragon coming through as well. Mountain Soul, by the way, folks, if you didn't already guess it out or do the math, Duinbi lands a Shuriken flip. I'm going to take it here onto Wayward, who's 1.5 items strong. Coming into this game, Lyric, we talked a lot about mid lane matchup being key. It does feel like in this early game, Duinbi has survived the laning phase and had so much more of an impact than Knight has. Hang on, we finally get the jump in. Launch out from Duinbi, Wayward out. Didn't really use anything to get through. as Light's going to spot him out as well. Running for his life. Wayward just dead. With the Gale Force, no. Collateral damage built to space as Arla wants a piece of Tien. Lucky to survive, but a close call nevertheless.
Yeah, I really like the aggressive Gale Force coming out from Light to try and guarantee that kill. That was so close. Luckily, Wayward did have both flash and collateral damage up to be able to get away. So now, for the side of TS, right, they're still playing very much in the face of LNG. That's why that pick almost came to fruition for LNG, trying to set that one up in the top lane as Wayward looks like kind of angling, trying to see where Doonby's at. Doonby wanting to try and look for the solo kill, follows through with the E instantly into the Q. Backs off once the Immortal Shield Bow shield does come through. And then Light, again, Light with such chat energy here with the Gale Force forward, is able to finish it off. You see, ultimate follows, then the E. Wayward still living a happy, non-dead life on this Graves.
Are you ready? Are you ready to do what all casters do in any esport and talk about the story again, Lyric? I got a lot.
Let's do it.
I got a lot, and I didn't even rehearse this, dude. It's just stuck in there. Remember, I was talking about mid a little bit before, Knight versus Doonby. We've been mentioning Knight through his Vex, his laning stats, and Doonby this split hasn't been as convincing as the Doonby of like 2020, even 2019 with his own style. But this game is really putting me in my place. And I love watching Doonby in a lead because you know that he'll take over games, and you know that LNG are built to support the strongest member on their roster, or at least one of them.
Yeah, and right, I feel like it's one of those things of, it's not like Doonby's really having a bad split by any regards. He's, again, I think overall been one of the best performers on LNG. Overall, still top tier mid laner. You just still have 2021 summer in the back of your head with how much he was popping off. So, Doonby this game though, really signaling that. I mean, his Akali has always been insane. We have so many outplays, solo kills, dives in the mid lane of Doonby on the Akalis. He's trying to find it here, but Wayward isn't gonna fall for it,
or at least suspects it.
Yeah, they were already pinging it out. They already had an idea of what was going on. Heck, they even see Light on some vision in around Raptors. So it seems like they have a pretty good idea that some members of LNG should be around the bottom side if they're willing to walk in so aggressively.
Len's going to spot out that ward, giving full information to top esports. Lyric, the ulti comes through. Mark actually devouring up. My stream froze again, so I'm kind of expecting that one to be a saving grace, and was. This Knight on top of Arla. A Spirit Rush available. Still only one. He used it to get out. And we're getting these low health bars. No one's dying, though. We have 5 kills in 22 minutes, and I'm getting cramps.
Well, thanks for the information. As top esports may be getting some cramps as well. And I gotta say, I really like what LNG are doing is, Allah's dead. In terms of LNG keeping Doonby in a side lane, knowing he can win out through the 1v1. He can also just buy so much time, be able to escape on the Akali, and committing the rest of their resources to the top side of the map. As we, get the replay here of what happens, Allah trying to follow up with the 1v1. Tarzan being there to support him, but we're gonna see here. Where is it, Jackie Love? Where is it, Jackie?
Oh, yeah. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes through on top of Arla. And I think that top esports ward that was just outside the brush that, of course, Arla saw, bites him in the bum. So, nice little kill here from Jackie Love. And now we have to remake Lyric. That ward wasn't showing up. No, in all seriousness, we'll find out.
I was gonna say, please don't make that joke.
No.
I don't want that joke. The teams don't want that joke. The fans don't want that joke. No one wants that here.
No one wants remakes.
Yep. We are gonna be waiting to hear what the pause is for. Everyone of the world who is watching the LPL should have that in a few minutes. As Hysterics, it is now your time to shine.
It is. You mean come out with an official statement, meaning that joke did not have any seriousness to it. I apologize to the fans. I apologize to Lyric's extended family, Lyric's grandparents.
I was just about to go on Twitter and cancel you, but you know what?
Save me.
I can be a little bit forgiving right now.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I apologize to all the Reddit fans who are all Challenger, everyone in Twitch chat as well, my mother, my father, my dog, who's 11 years old, a Labrador.
You should apologize to Hung because you made him that video of you writing that love letter.
I never, and I gotta be honest, I never sent the love letter. I never ever sent a love letter to my, well, hang on. It wasn't a love letter. It was a letter to my mother for my love for Hung. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a fraud. I never sent it because I was worried that, Hung might see it or know, and he might get me in trouble. unfortunately.
Ooh, the LPL logo's back.
That means we're in. You know, Lyric. Hey, you're a real one when you know that you see the Mercedes logo and you're like, dude, we're returning to game. That's how every fan out there, that's how we know we're going back into game. Now, speaking of which, let's set this up because as TP comes through, 35 seconds until the Mountain Dragon. This will lead to Soul Point for LNG. Lyric, they're in a great position. I see a Zhonya's for Doomby as well, as he's also teleported in. This is going to be a big one, a big setup to try and take over the game. This feels important.
Yeah, I feel like the Zhonya's is also so crucial, right? Being able to get into the back line, kind of start off and engage, put Top Esports in an awkward position, pop the Zhonya's, and then be able to get out of there. TS, though, have control of River so far, have some nice range advantage on their side coming out from the Jinx and the Ahri.
Yeah.
But LNG have a very easy way of closing
they
this.
got Lumao. He goes Golden, buys time. Tien with the early ulti though. Look at Doomby in the back line. Jumps right in, goes Golden. Now for LNG, they need to bring support. He flashes on out. And all of a sudden, one player changes the face of a great pick as Tarzan running for his life. Wayward on the chase. Dragon started, but we ain't over yet.
Yeah, I still feel like for Top Esports, you got to be extremely careful now. No Devour up for Mark.
Good dodge here from Wayward. Lumao not getting the death sentence. Arla ulting out of there. Again, Knight gets a great charm. Arla getting hit away. The collateral damage bursting in, but LNG are not winning this fight. Top Esports aggressing their way in. Tien solo, ready for the steal that heals him up. That 1 HP Xin Zhao needs to pick his window.
Yeah, and Ala goes for the back. He's going to recall in now. Doesn't have the ultimate. Stormbringer still available for Tarzan, and Duda's going to have his ultimate back up soon,
They
too.
force them out. They force them out. Again, the TP play. They buy their time, and LNG move to Soul Point. Top Esports throwing so much to the wall, and nothing seemed to stick.
No, I mean, right, some really nice charms coming out from Knight in that exchange, being able to catch members off, but still not having the damage to follow up. And seriously, once Mark's ultimate's down, once Tien doesn't have ultimate as well, I think it's very hard for them to walk into the composition that LNG have put together. We're going to see here kind of the back half of the skirmish. Wayward and Knight trying to walk in, the damage coming out from Light. Knight gonna hit the charm here, but still not able to follow through with any damage because, look, Jacula, Tien, and others aren't able to walk in. Light is doing so much to be able to zone them out from being able to walk through Tribrush. And then at this point, I like that LNG realized, play it slow. We can have Ala back, TP in, and I mean, Tien's pretty much out of the fight, right? Tien might as well be dead at this point because he will not be able to join the fray once again.
I hate it, Felios. I've just come to the conclusion where this champion, always fun to watch, but always ridiculous in the same sense. You can see why that damage hurts, though, as the poke from Light on a 310 CS of Felios at 25 minutes in the game. Jaculov's ahead of the clock, but he's 50 CS down. I don't even know how that's possible from Light. I guess he's playing with Doomby, and this is the 300 CS at 26 minutes Light of Felios hack, I guess.
Yeah, Light. Well, I mean, and heck, like we just saw, right? Doing so much in that skirmish, Light being set up to be a big carry. Especially when you don't have to worry too much about backline threat. Like, there is Knight, right? Knight going to be trying to jump in, but I feel like Knight will also have to be conscious and, like, try to peel for the rest of his team as well, since you have so many divers coming in on the side of LNG. Like, seriously, 3 members just jumping in your face.
Moonlight Vigil. Oh my god, the Inferno as well. Doomby now has his angle. Perfect execution, can rip through. Protobelt first into Mark, eats up Jaculov, who's the hair's breadth from dying. LNG on the chase as well. Shuriken Flip is a bit short this time around. Top Esports don't have the health bars to even think about contesting. As the jump out from the Abyssal Dive and Mark.
Is this a Baron?
Gets him to safety. I think LNG, yes, they want to think about turning it into.
Yeah, I think this could be a potential Baron angle, right? You have 2 members extremely low on the side of Top Esports, so they're going to have to back. Even if you can't finish the Baron, at least forcing the other 3 into you, having a 5v3, finding some picks can be huge for the side of LNG, but man, they have a ton of damage coming out right now.
Lumao with the box and the flame. Tien is just dead. Enemy jungle down. Doesn't matter about the right guns as they dodge away from the Super Mega Death Rocket in Jaculov. Top Esports, they're going to lose their jungler, but at the very least, they get LNG low enough to make them double think about getting the Baron.
Still, for the side of LNG, right? I mean, it was a win-win. You're either getting the Baron or you're forcing only 3 members of TES to walk into you. You pretty much guaranteed you're going to be able to find a pick in that scenario. So they do it. Luckily, no one getting hit by the Super Mega Death Rocket in a potential 1-for-1 scenario, which could have been a little bit sad for the side of LNG. But we're going to see here, Doomby and Lumao playing forward. They have a control ward. Death Sentence does land right into the box. I mean, you have the E coming out from Doomby. Light apparently able to finish off with an auto and picking up that 1 kill on Tien. And we said for Tien, right? He is typically the difference maker for the side of Top Esports. Whether a TF's game goes, you know, amazingly awesome or horrendously tragic, is usually solely in the hands of this jungler.
Yeah, it is. Again, like for TN, 0-3 hasn't been the greatest game here. Going up against his former brother in Doomby, but on the other side, at least one of them is doing well. Lyric, Doomby's 2-0 and 2. 3 items now picked up. The Shadow Flame, as top esports, this is not a good position. They might have to run out here. Doomby's jumping in. There's another Shuriken flip. Doomby jumping in to the back line with a quick execution on top of Mark. Buying time with a quick little Zhonya's. LNG's mid laner survives, and Knight almost does not. Jaculov in a similar position as Wayward, now dealing out the damage. Lumau getting low, flashing away in the end.
That's so close.
Knight running up, though, and Wayward, head in hands, is right. They just can't get a break.
Yeah, Wayward was so close to it, almost being able to make it a 1-for-1. But we see the way that LNG are taking these fights, right? It's pretty much Light, throw up Moonlight Vigil right away, try and chunk them low, and that's when you have your 2 assassins and your Volibear follow through with the burst. They get low enough to where then one full combo can just take a member out outright. As right there, Moonlight Vigil coming out on Knight and Mark. We see Heal having to be popped. Doomby already jumping in, comboed with the Stormbringer. Mark just instantly deleted. They buy time to be able to get away, but then this is where Lumau was kind of trying to zone out Wayward on the opposite side. Almost ended up getting himself solo killed. Thankfully, almost means it didn't happen.
We're still mid, though. Lyric, we are still mid, waiting for this Dragon Soul. Tarzan caught out, though. Top esports still don't have enough damage. He moves to half HP, though, and that means TS can move in as Arla starts this one off. Heartbreaker's out, not on the same page, but Light's hitting away with this turret. Jaculov's ulti almost killing Lumau. Soul's going to be denied as top esports started up, but look, LNG are going to walk towards Baron.
Yeah, but Wayward can just do Dragon solo, right? And Wayward has TP, so if any action breaks out, Wayward could very easily follow. I don't think LNG are actually going to play this card and try and call TS's bluff or vice versa. So Dragon goes over to the side of top esports. They also get the wave pushed out in mid and can now start walking aggressively into this top side, trying to get some vision control back for themselves.
At least taking away some of the jungle camps as well along the way. The top esports still is this 5 stack, not in vision for the time being. Wayward's going to have to clear that control ward. Pings are going down, and Lyric, in my ears, in the back of my head, I can hear very slightly Fly Phoenix Fly playing. The music timing perfect. But I don't know who the Phoenix is anymore out of Doomby or Tien.
I mean, at least in this game, it's Doomby, right?
Okay.
100% guaranteed. We were kind of hitting on in terms of win cons for LNG is, are LNG doing Baron? LNG are doing Baron!
Okay.
Never mind about win cons.
And it's quick. I mean,
Doomby trying to
Light
find
has the right guns, and Lumau gets a hook once again on top of Tien. Grafton is there to root him in place. Box down as well. Tarzan stuck in the pit. Top esports have the health bar. Baron hasn't reset, but look at where Doomby is. That angle is going to be supreme as Jaculov gets tagged up. Doomby now spotted out. Top esports threatened, but Baron resets. Charm misses as well. Top esports now have the health bars to play with. LNG have bought their time, but this is the Moonlight Vigil once again. Light can't do any damage on top of Tien, but Doomby will make up for that. Arla with a reset as Light runs forward. The LNG 80 carry. Light Yagami is Kira.
Light and Doomby completely popping off in that team fight. They ace the side of top esports. They can just look for the push.
Run it down, man. 11-2. LNG, they make it look like a stomp, but this has been back and forth. Tension rising in this first game as LNG step into the base. Lyric, death time is a massive.
Yeah, for LNG right there. They have an inhibitor. They have a wave. They have like 10 seconds left on Tien. I mean, LNG got this.
Lyric, when playoffs is on the line, it looks like LNG are going to take it up to another notch. As Doomby's Akali is all we're going to talk about in post, because 6-0-4, almost 100% kill participation. Doomby showing us who one of the best mid laners in the world still is.
Yep, and like you just hit on, right? We said it earlier in the day. If LNG win this series, LNG have confirmed their ticket to playoffs. So we see with that on the line, with that at stake, LNG massively showing up. I think great game coming out from Doomby, like we highlighted in the end as well. Just a lot of aggression across the board. Light, I mean, my God, so many phenomenal like Gale Forces into Moonlight Vigils coming out from him, making sure the enemy team is already low to set up for the assassination to come out from Doomby. And we saw, as long as they were able to go with like the initial engage, and then typically top esports would kite it out. The problem then for top esports is you're missing a lot of the tools needed to peel off the engage, right? The Devour's now down. Your Spirit Rush on Ari's already gone. potentially your Xin Zhao ultimate not there anymore. It's like, okay, well, now what do you do once Doinbi waits for his cooldowns to come back up, once Allah finds a way into the fight? And we saw the answer was not really there.
I mean, there's a lot to break down where I think Knight, his angling in these fights are really important. But yeah, where's the damage? Where's the follow up coming through from Top Esports? Jackie Love always being threatened out. I love it because in this game we saw some pretty aggressive moments from him, but he never got the space required. He never got that fight that we were kind of setting up for Top Esports with the comp that, you know, we said was pretty straightforward, as that dip down is a nice way to sell the story.
I also just love how we were questioning in draft, like, what are we going to see out from top lane Viego? What's it going to be able to do? It's like, how's it going to hold up? And yeah, it really didn't do too much. It still won. So, you know, on the scorecards,
that means it's good.
It looks like exactly an overwhelming W, insane champion, can be picked every game. But I mean, we've already hit on the two key members, I feel like, for the side of LNG, and they, you know, even shows in the damage numbers coming out from them. It was a very close game for a majority of the series. Did feel like once we got into the mid game, though, just the amount of a lead that Doinbi was able to find really cemented LNG's map control, because there was no one able to match him in sides, and he was like pulling two members down so often, and then LNG were able to get control on the opposite side of the map as well.
Again, a stunning victory, and it's only game one. Coming into today, like, we were talking a lot about how Top Esports were on their hot streak, but LNG obviously have brought something else into this. Game one belongs to them, and as we go to a break, hopefully, this goes the distances. That was exciting.